Okay, you guys, welcome to our presidential panel. We're really excited to connect with y'all, and I think that one of the things we feel that we want to contribute to this group is giving you guys some best practices of what's working for us, and how we're really seeing a tremendous amount of differences in growing our businesses, because you guys have already reached such milestones in your business, and it's so fun to collaborate as a group of people who really want to make a difference and want to show up as the best leaders they can be in their teams, and really to spend your time doing stuff on things that produce results. And so I think that our goal for you guys is to help share with you our best practices and things that we are seeing a tremendous difference with. So today we're going to talk about launches. Now, launches are, we're all doing them a little bit differently. So I love that you're going to get some great, and you can kind of take what we give you today and apply it to your business however it works with the way you like things to roll and where you think your strengths are. So I would advise all of y'all, so I'm going to do this recording and I'm going to post this into my leader groups, because I want my leaders to also fine tune the way that they're doing launch trainings. And so we're going to have it here for the Diamond and Above group. I'm also going to post it on the Gold and Platinum Mastermind, because I think that when I was a Gold, that's when I really started doing a lot of these launches and retreats within my organization. And so I feel like at that level, really people can facilitate these on their own. And I think even Silver sometimes can get involved in helping their new leaders launch in this same system. So each one of us utilize the Share Success system. Now, if you don't use Share Success, that doesn't mean that you can't implement something like this into your business. That's why I was a little bit apprehensive about even putting the system name on the post that we put up, because I feel like this is something that you can do whether you're using this system as a whole or not. So just a heads up on that. So I'm going to go through a few things of what I do with launch training. So I love in-person events. Okay, in-person events to me, I feel like getting people together builds a lot of belief and it helps develop relationships. So I hold these 4 to 5 times a year. Last year, I probably did like 10 to 12 of these, because I was really training my team to start doing them. So I was holding the bulk of them. But now my leaders are really running these in their own areas, and they're doing it according to the needs of their team. So they'll change some of what I have set as a platform and as a template, and they'll adjust it to the needs of their team if they need to shorten it or make it longer, or change the content of what they're using. But I'm going to give you the full content of what I do, and then you'll be able to manipulate it however you want. So I hold these, like this year, my schedule has this 5 times: January, April, June, August, and November. Those dates seem to be when people are able to show up and do it. June is the latest. I do it early June, the very first weekend in June, before people really get into vacation mode. So, and before school's out. So those are the times of year that I feel like these work really well and generate a lot of attendance, and where people will actually take what they're learning and apply it in their business. Okay, so when we talk about the materials that I use when I'm doing my launch trainings, I use the teach sheet from Share Success. I use the build guide from Share Success, and I also use the launch guide. So when people come to my training, they have a folder with those 3 materials in them that they get when they check in. Now, I have been holding these at my house up until this year. So literally until January 2017, I've been holding these in my house, because my house has a space where it would hold 40 to 50 people. And I would cut it off at that amount. But now I'm sick of doing things at my house, and it's growing where I want to open it up to, a lot of other teams cross-line have come to my events. But because I want to be able to open up even more cross-line, I am now using a space at a Residence Inn. They have a really good separate room that I can use for all of my events. And what I've done is I have gone into this place and negotiated a really good price, because I'm committing to use their facility 5 to 7 times this year. So when you go into and you're finding a place, a venue to hold these, if you want to do it outside of your home, find a place where you want to hold consistent events and negotiate a really good price so you have some leverage to get them to lower how much it's going to cost. Okay, so when I look at what I'm going to charge for events, because I do charge for events, I think it's an important piece of people committing to attend because they have some skin in the game. And I also want this to be duplicatable to my team, so I don't want them forking out all the money for all the materials and the venue. It's important that you take the cost of those two things, you add it up, and maybe even any gifts or raffles that you're going to do at the event, and you total that up and then divide it by however many people you on average have at your event. Or maybe you set a number, like I have to, between my team and I, we have to get this many people there. So that's how you know what to charge, okay? And for me, all I really care about in my expenses, I'm okay to spend some because I feel like it's an investment in my business, but I do want to try to cover the facility fee. So, you know, you guys can decide however you want to run that. That's what's important to me. Now, when we look at a schedule, well, first of all, the way I use this for payment is I do everything through Eventbrite. So you may have another system that you love to use. I love Eventbrite. It's simple. It's easy for me to promote. It's easy for me to set up. I'm not a techie girl, so I love things to be super simple for me. And I feel like that works really well. So the third thing is the schedule. Now, when I've done these in-person launch trainings, I've done them as an all-day training, and I have done it where I've provided lunch. I've done it as a 4-hour training where I didn't do lunch. And what I found works best is to do a full day training from 9 to 5, and then I have a 12 to 1 or 12 to 1:30 lunch break so people can go away and then come back. So that gives them a little bit of a brain break between what we're doing. Now, the intention of these launches is not that people leave understanding every single piece of what I'm going through, okay? They're gonna get inundated with information, but my goal is that they're gonna get inspired to see enough people around them to feel like this business is, number one, worth investing in, number two, that they feel like they have some kind of knowledge base and practice after they leave to go do this on their own. We do a lot of hands-on practicing at my launch trainings because I want people in a safe space to do things where they're gonna screw up and mess up and things that are very intimidating to them. I want them to get out the nerves, right? And practice in a situation it doesn't matter. Like, who cares if you screw up, you know? So that's what I'm trying to facilitate here. I also want relationships to be built with new people. Maybe they find somebody that they really resonate with that they can have as an accountability person, or somebody that they can talk to if they feel like they're alone or they don't have upline support or they don't really connect with their upline. I'm providing a facility for that. And we're gonna have fun, right? We're gonna make it fun. We're gonna show the potential of the business and the kind of community that we're building through this. And so those are really important pieces for me, and I feel like they're really powerful when you're doing it in person. Okay, so as far as the material goes, of the content that I'm rolling out, so I do everything based on the launch guide itself. The launch guide has just been updated and refined, so it's actually even simpler than it was last year. And I've just changed the whole slide deck for the PowerPoint of the contents that I'm gonna roll out, because I have my first one this Saturday. So I'm gonna share my screen for just a second to show you guys a couple of things. Oh, if it's gonna come up here. Yeah. All right, so really quickly, can you guys see my PowerPoint? So this is the launch PowerPoint that I have simplified. So the first part of this goes through the business opportunity. The second part goes through just basically the compensation plan. I want people to really get an idea of that, of how to get started. And then we break up the whole meeting into mindset, skill set, tool set. Okay, and I follow the same agenda when I do my retreats, but this is a big slide deck, okay? And I'm gonna share this with all of you. You guys can all have this slide deck to use, to play with, to hide whatever slides you want, but this whole slide deck follows this agenda. So let me show you this, and I'll show you where to find it. And I'm gonna actually give Andy Goddard my slide deck because theirs isn't finished yet. They were updating it. So I'm just gonna send him mine so we can house it here also. So this is the Share Success website. Okay, under the library section, is it showing the agenda? Perfect. Okay, so this is an agenda that I came up with last year with the launch guide. And before people come to my training, one of the requirements is that they have done steps 1 through 3 on the build guide. Okay, so what does that really mean? That means they have, number 1, set some kind of 30-day goal for themselves. Number 2, they've created a names list. And number 3, they've had at least 1 class. Okay, because I feel like if people do those 3 things before they come to this launch training, they're going to get a ton more out of it. They're going to have at least experienced the full process for themselves. So those are the criteria before they can attend my launch training. Now, do I make exceptions sometimes for people? Of course, but we really want people to at least have their names list for sure to bring, because we do a lot with that during the training itself. And then secondly, if they've had a class, they're just going to get so much more out of it. Okay. The second one, again, I go through the business overview. I go through the compensation plan, introducing the pipes, and we actually do a lot of practice on inviting, right? Hosting classes from classes, inviting people to get on loyalty rewards, practicing a membership overview. I have them do the most intimidating part of the class. So whatever part of the class is scary for them, I have them practice it right there with their partner, and we do everything as a partnership. So it doesn't take forever, right? So we say, turn to your partner, do this, okay? We do a blitz because the blitz is really important. I have some really cool prizes that I do with the blitz when we do the invite section. I have people set goals. I have them text their goals to their upline with their why, so that they see why these people are here and what their goals are, because I want that has created some real serious commitment from the upline when they see kind of the heart of people get text to them, because the people don't know they're going to send it, okay? They fill it out, and then after they already have it filled out, I make them send it. So they don't know that's coming. So they really pour their heart out on it, which is good. And then I also have them get their names list out. That's what we use for the text splits. We prioritize that names list into people that they think will use the product, people they think will host classes for them or share, and people they would really want to be business partners. And so I have them, then they have like kind of an idea of what they want to ask these people when they're texting them in the blitz, right? They have thought about it a little bit before we do the blitz. And then we go through, after we do inviting and presenting, then we go through closing. We watch a lot of videos on here. If you want to use the videos, they're in the slide deck already embedded, so they're there for you to use. If you don't want to use videos, you can just practice and wing it and give examples through your own, you and your leaders. So we also talk about follow-up. We go through placements very briefly. Placements is not something I spend a lot of time on here, because that really bombards people and they're like, what am I supposed to do? It's just giving them an idea of it. And then we just help them build confidence. Ultimately, when they leave there again, we want them feeling excited and knowing that they've done something, right, to kind of bridge themselves into doing this more. Now, of course, when people leave there, we need them to be tapped into something where now they're going to get this in bite-sized pieces. They've gotten it as a whole, and hopefully they're going to remember something from it. But most importantly, their belief's going to be high, that they're going to want to go and take some action so they can get some more results, right? So what we're doing with this is then I take this and I tap them into their on Share Success. There is the Train by Rank here, where, can you guys see this now, where we're on the Train by Rank? Okay, if you click onto this launch right here, it gives people bite-sized pieces of this, okay? They can even tap into, click here to get started, and then we've got videos of everything: prepare, invite, present, enroll, support, and bonus trainings, where people can take everything they learned, and then they can go back and use these videos and the assignments in it with their launch guide that they're leaving with to reinforce some of the things maybe that they're experiencing. Maybe they're out and now they're about to have a class and they're like, oh my goodness, okay, how am I going to get people in these seats? So then they come, they go to the invite section. They can use it as needed, or they can take themselves through. Now, some of my leaders have Facebook groups where they kind of hand feed these videos to people who have attended a launch training. And we're talking about implementing that a little bit more. And I know that that's something that Sarah and Jessica are going to talk about when they go through their section. So I'm just going to go here to the chat window, and let's see Did you guys already answer all this? Perfect. I love it. You're so on it.
Just the online, Jess.
What now?
Just the online. People are asking if you do this online or you don't,
Yeah.
You don't think it's as effective.
So I know that there are leaders who do it online, and I think that that's something that, you can look into. I do stream mine. So I actually will have like a live stream set up using either a Zoom webinar or using live stream itself, where people out of state can watch the event taking place live. I feel like I just haven't transitioned into doing it online yet because my leaders do, okay? Some of my leaders, they do it with their teams in a smaller group where they break this down into like 4 weeks, and they take different segments of it one time a week to work on with their teams. And I think that's been really helpful for them. But I have not done it myself on a large format online. My stuff is in person. And I've traveled a lot to do these with my team in different places, but my leaders are now doing it themselves. So it's been something that's very duplicatable. And again, all the materials are already there. You just have to implement it. And that's, I love that. So any other questions, Jess, that I need to answer on my part? And I'll turn it over to y'all.
No, I didn't see any. That was basically it. And then just that you're going to upload. Your agenda isn't on Share Success, right?
It is. Is it? The agenda is actually already there. So if you go on Share Success to the library, so this is, if you come right here to library, okay, it'll bring you to this page. And then you just go down to tools, right under tools. And the launch training agenda is right here where you can download. And again, like some of that has changed a little bit because the launch guide has changed, but the basics of it are already there. And if you look at the PowerPoint that I'll post, and Andy is going to download that into the PowerPoints right here, okay, in the same library. These are outdated, okay? So I took the new launch guide and I made a new PowerPoint with it. I just updated some of these. And it has the exact stream of how I roll things out. It's in the exact order. So that will really help y'all. And I'll absolutely share that with you so that you can implement it if you want to do these in a group setting. So
perfect. And then you covered this, and I think Sarah's going to talk about it too, but the time frame, like Sarah just said, 9 to 5, but Jess has done them half day. And like you were saying, you felt like you were rushed when you did them half day?
Yeah, when I did them in a 4-hour segment, and I just felt like, oh man, we really needed some more time, because I feel like if you don't allow yourself enough time for people to, if you're just kind of like vomiting information on them, then it's not really sinking in. And I like it to be long enough where it can sink in a little, they can regurgitate the things they're learning, because that's how you really learn, right? You get it filled in your head and then you regurgitate it. And that's what we're doing the entire launch. So I love those. But again, if you wanted to split this up into 2 segments, right, or 3 segments, you could easily do that. I think if all the content is there, and you can say, hey, what's best for my team? And this is how I'm going to do it. So let's hear from y'all now. Sarah, is it better for Jess to go now, or do you want to go now? We want you to have priority because you're in your car.
Yeah, no, I can totally go now. Okay. Do you want to take your screen off so I can I don't have anything, but it'll allow me to get back to what I need to get back to here for some reason. There we go. I got to exit my full screen. All right. So yeah, I think that this is such a fun call, you guys, because there's so many ways to do a launch, right? And the way that Jess does it, the way that Jess does it, the way I do it, like everyone's different. And then as I survey my leaders, they all do them differently, right? So, and I love that, the Goddards have really put out like kind of a template for us to pull from. And that's how I started. So the way that I started just first doing them was just as a 30-day Facebook group. And all the new builders would go into this 30-day Facebook group. And because that's the way that the Goddards were doing theirs. And so I pulled all of the graphics and the content and all of that, and I just started doing that. And I did them for about 7 to 8 months. And over the course of that time, I kind of tweaked a few things and changed some language. And so it sounded more like my voice. And, I kind of came up with my own thing. And I didn't do one in January, and I have one of my diamond leaders taking over and running an incredible launch. And it's been fun to see what she changed from mine and is actually having amazing results. So this is what I want to share with you is some of the things that are making it really successful. Because I mean, wouldn't it be great if we just had like a magical, like plug and play program for, I'm going to plug my person in here and they pop out elite? Well, it doesn't happen that way, right? We all wish that we had that, but we don't. And so those of you that do have teams spread out all over, and if you're not going to do a live stream like Jessica's doing, the Facebook group may be an option for you. But I'm going to tell you some things not to do and some things that will work really well for you. So it really, if you look at it as like a platform for communication with your new people, okay? And those of you that have big teams, so for me as a presidential, I would run it every single month and allow whoever wanted to plug in their people into that group to do that. Now, that does leave a huge gap for communication if that person plugging them in just drops them in that group and ditches them there, right? Because they're kind of like, even if they're getting tagged in the posts that they're doing, a lot of times they're just kind of dropped in there and left. So the biggest key for success, if you're going to run an online launch, is interaction. Interaction, more interaction, okay? So the way that that we're doing it now, and Jen and Chiostro, many of you guys know who she is. She's the diamond that's running it on my team. I had her give me just like the main points that she's seen incredible growth in her team from what she's changing, okay? The biggest thing is Facebook Live, okay? They're integrating Facebook Live into everything. So she's doing a short Facebook Live, like a 10-minute Facebook Live every single day in this group. And it's topical based on the post that's going into that group every day. So she's pulling from what I was doing before. And the posts are like, today we're going to talk about belief. It's the most important thing in your business. And it's a little blip about belief and then maybe an inspirational quote. But the Facebook Live goes a little deeper, and they're watching her talk about how her belief grew and where she lacked belief. And it's just a short little ditty about that. But it gets people really excited because, oh my gosh, I caught her live today. And even if they're going back and watching the recording, they're still getting just a different glimpse into what we do here, okay? So the Facebook Live, now in the beginning of the launch that, on the online one, and I don't even know because I've never run one in person. So some of it may be only to the launch, online. We have them make videos of themselves, like a selfie video. And it has 8 or 10 questions that they need to answer. Like, why are you doing this launch? What is this going to change for you? I mean, it's kind of like a vision boarding selfie video. However, she had them do them on Facebook Live. So it was totally imperfect, totally unedited. They didn't get to take it 9 times and then post it, which is what I was doing. I was letting them just post it as a post. It also gives them the confidence to stand in that new skill set of Facebook Live, right? Because what an amazing thing to give to your team to force them to do Facebook Lives in order to be in the launch. And they'll be scared out of their mind. It's really adorable. But here's the thing is she said, one of the gals that was in there, she said, I will never do Facebook Live. I'm not going to do it. Okay, fine, I did it. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with Facebook Live. I just want to do it all the time, right? So they go from that total place of fear into a total place of confidence. Now, what else is that going to do for their business? It's going to rock their business because now they have the confidence to start talking about oils on their personal page or sharing some lifestyle tips on their business page or whatever that looks like. So Facebook Live is the key. Now, here's the kicker. 75% of the people in the launch participated in that Facebook Live post. That's insane compared to the numbers that I was getting by just telling them, hey, post a selfie video. It's going to be super fun. I didn't see enough because they're cheering each other on. They're cheering each other on. And in those Facebook videos, people were getting vulnerable. And I was almost crying watching my people that were in that launch because I was seeing in their eyes just how bad they wanted it. And other people were watching them going, me too. That's me. Oh my gosh, I'm so scared. You're scared too. And it builds a camaraderie within the launch that you really just can't get. And when it's not, especially live, it just creates such a beautiful thing. Okay. The next thing she did, which was also Facebook Live related, was one day before the tech splits, which the tech splits it's really awesome to watch new people do a tech splits because it builds their confidence. They're scared out of their mind. And then all of a sudden they do get a whole bunch of bookings and a whole bunch of interest. But you'll always get those people who are too scared to do anything after the tech splits, right? So they'll get a yes, but they're like, I don't know how to, I'm too scared. I can't teach a class. I can't do a one-on-one. So one day before, she announced that she would be teaching a 3-part series on Facebook Live of classes. One 101 class, just an intro to essential oils, and then 2 201 classes. And you could do anything, right? You could do an emotions class. You could do, you pick, okay? And so she offered those in a private group that all of her launchers could add their customers to or add their leads to. So they didn't even have to teach that first initial class. They could just watch her do it on Facebook Live. And it was fun. It was interactive. And they now have no excuse not to do the tech splits because they immediately, so if someone says, while they're texting, like, oh, I can't host a class for you. Excuse. She's like, oh, no problem. But I think you'd really love listening to my leader teach this introduction to essential oils class. Tomorrow I'll just add you to that group and you can watch the recording later if you miss it. Okay. So that's been really effective. And she's been seeing really good results from that. Again, because I know you guys, I'm not watching the chat, but a lot of people ask like, what is it again? It's a group, like a private group that you can invite people to, and then they can all invite. So it can be, 1,000 people in there and they can all watch it. Okay. I talked about going live in the group daily. Okay. Topical tips, weekdays, not on the weekends. Oh, here's the other thing I loved. Again, Facebook Live, that's the kicker. She had every participant teach a class in the group on Facebook Live. Every single one of them. So there was like tons and tons of like 45-minute long class videos in that group, but people love it because they're in, and it's not like they're going to go and watch every single person teaching, but guess who is watching? It's going to be their mentor and the person that is with them in that group, and maybe like their peers or a few of their leaders that are in that group with them. And they're going to be able to get constructive feedback. And hey, have you thought about, using this phrase in your closing instead of this phrase? I think that'll be a better fit for you. And so there's no excuse for them after leaving that. It's just the same as Jess is saying about having them do the scary things right there in person. Facebook Live is really close to being in person because it's terrifying when you're first doing it. You're like pressing, it's very nerve-wracking because everyone's watching you, right? So it has that same element of standing in front of a group of people teaching a class, and that's been really effective. By doing all these Facebook Lives, people are engaging in the group better. They're staying longer. They're, if they can't catch it, like they're somewhere, they might be driving, they'll just click on to listen and just let it sit there while they're driving. They are getting on and listening because it's live. Way more than like a recorded Zoom chat, which is what I was doing before. Okay. So just there's something magical about Facebook Live. Another thing that she had them do in there is she helped each of them rewrite their non-compliant story, and whether they share that via Facebook Live, and then everything's deleted like in a hot second. So it is going out there a little bit, but then we're deleting it out really quick. But it's really good for them to see, like, I have a powerful story, and then have it rewritten, still powerfully compliant, but then it's also allowing all the other launchers to see, oh my gosh, oils do that? Oh my gosh, oils help with that? I just thought they helped with, the wart on my toe. And they're blown away by these testimonials that they're hearing, and that builds belief. And that's a huge thing. Just a few little things to end here is that the people that are in her launch right now, this is why it brings camaraderie, right? There is a young man who is a powerhouse, creative, amazing person, and he happens to just live in a homeless shelter. And he is building his business from the homeless shelter. So during his Facebook Live, he gave them a tour of his room in the shelter, And he's like, and here's this, and I can't wait to do this, and I'm going to go enroll this person on the street right now. And he sells diamond kits, like from the homeless. I mean, he's incredible. But they're watching him going, what is my excuse? Like, I don't have an excuse. Here I am in my like office in suburbia, and I don't have an excuse. I can go out and share oils with people. And you better believe people are going to get back on there to see how it happens for him, right? To see what happens. There's another gal who lives in a tent and is building from like her relative's backyard. And she recently finally got to move out of the tent, but she went and gave a tour of her tent, probably because the other guy gave a tour of his living situation. It gives people bravery. It gives people bravery, and they want to be able to do it, and they want to cheer each other on. So those are just some tips that have worked really well in this recent online launch that we've done. You will get people that when you do a 30-day, I would recommend doing actually a 5 or 6 week launch. So she started hers on the 17th of January, and it's going to run through the end of February. What I have found in a 4-week launch, people get really, really by the halfway mark of the month, they're like, it's too hard, I quit, because they barely got their feet under them if they started in the first week of the month. So that gives a little bit more prep time to just space it out just a little bit. We all know 4 weeks is really pretty quick to hit elite, even for those that are really cranking. So giving them just that little bit of extra time is helpful. You will get people that are like, it's just too much for me to like do something every single day. And they get really overwhelmed with the everydayness of it, like the commitment to do something every day. And, to that I say, well, it's too bad that you're not going to be able to run a business then, because it's kind of every day, it's kind of like a thing that you have to pay attention to. And I just ask them, like, can you do this for 10 minutes a day? Like, it's a commitment, but you're also committing to success. And it's a really good filter to find that type of program, because it's really not that long, right? And when they get excited and they're having fun, then it's a lot easier for them to stick around. So similar to if you did a 4-hour or a day-long launch in person, you would still obviously have that next 30 days of like follow-up and coaching and rah and keep them going. And so this is just kind of an extended version of what would be done in person. So that's what I have. I haven't been watching the chat at all, so I don't know if you guys have some specific questions. But
I think people really just want to know if you're willing to share some of the questions that you asked, like the questions that you're having them do the video of. Yeah. And maybe, I don't know if you want to share like kind of how you roll it out, and then people can make it their own. And we can talk about putting everything in a folder together.
Yeah, I would like to, I'm just going to have I'm just going to put them all in a document so that they're like by days, like day one. Because here's the thing, like when I load them, even in SenseShare, which is what I use for my automated loading, I still have to go in, like I change a few things, and I don't want them to fall on a weekend, things like certain posts go with certain days. So it is, but I would love to share that with you guys, and I just need to get it all together. And I mean, like I said, it's not, like half of it is Goddard's, and so I have to totally give them a huge shout out, because it's like a lot of their content. So yeah, but
that's what's great, and then people can take it and they can download it for themselves and edit it so it sounds like them.
Yeah, exactly. That. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was amazing. Let's see what other questions. Was there any more, Jess, that we missed?
Someone said, are the mentors of the launchers all in the launch group too? That's the kicker. They have to be there, because if the mentor doesn't know what's going on, like their person just had this huge mental breakthrough during their video and they're crying, it's so emotional, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this business, and all of a sudden they don't know anything about it. And they're like, hey, did you see my video? Like, no, what video? So they have to be like, when we do ours, it's tag your mentor every time. So if you answer something, you're tagging your mentor. Like it's an active, engaged, that's what I'm saying. It's interactive with the mentor and the mentee during that 6-week launch.
And I feel like it makes that mentor so much more invested in that person as an individual, and seeing where their heart is and their desire and how they're stepping out of their comfort zone. It's just, you want to support those people more.
Yeah. Tara's asking, how do you recommend to impart the importance to mentors? to engage, and what tips do you recommend to the mentor to maximize the month? So it should be kind of obvious as you're telling them, hey, I'm going to run this program for you, and all you need to do is show up and cheerlead, and give your person tips. I mean, to me, that's enough to be like, whoa, you're going to do that for me? Okay, I'm going to show up. But if you have kind of a not active person who's enrolling people and kind of just plugging them into different things, it's a little bit harder. I would definitely encourage people to get in there, because they are learning now how to run their own launch. And I mean, that's what's happened in our team, is that, you know, for these first 7-8 months, I've run the launch, but now my leaders are stepping out. Like Jessica said, they're doing it on their own because it was modeled for them, right? And because it was already set up for them to be a part, encourage them to be a part of that journey. It, like checking in with them on a personal basis, obviously, right? Like texting them, maybe sending them a little card that just says how proud you are of what they've been doing. Your video was amazing. Like any little thing that you would do for any builder at, you know, in the beginning stages, especially, just making sure that they feel seen and valued within that group. I'm just going to crank out answers if you guys.
Some of them are asking like how you reach out. Do you want me to cover that when I kind of how you launch the whole program, or do you want to cover that, Sarah?
I mean, we may do it differently. Like when I do it, I put it out there like a few days before it starts, and they have to opt in themselves. Like I don't want leaders to add people to a group without an opt-in, a hand up that says, yes, I want to do this launch, I'm all in. And it has to be like explained by the mentor that this is a daily weekday thing for 6 months or 6 months. That'd be a long program, 6 weeks. And are you up for that? I know you want to get started in your business. And unless they opt in and say, yes, they can't add them. Like it's not, like I said, it's not a plug and play, a drop and leave them there kind of thing. Also, I just saw someone ask about burned out on programs. Did I just make that up? Oh, burnt out. There it is. What tips do you have if many of your team has been a launch elite group and pushed Premier and they've been burnt out by groups like this before? I personally don't care who's burnt out and who's not. The people that are gonna come to this group are the ones that I'm gonna work with, and the people that I want to work with are those that are moving toward me. So if they're, you know, if they're like too many groups, I don't want to do it again, I'm like, okay, bye. You know, like this is a tool that I use to engage with my new team members. And if someone has put a builder in there and they're not willing to participate, it's just a nice little crucial conversation that you're going to have with it's a gift to you to have a nice crucial conversation with that person. You reach out to Angela. Yes, no, I don't charge anything for, I mean, there's no online, like for online, because like Jessica said, there's no space fee or anything like that. I had been doing them every month, Lindsay, but because the 4-week was too fast, like I think I'll do, Jessica, you said yours are like quarterly, right? Like almost quarterly. I mean, that makes way more sense to me, because there is that like ebb and flow, like kick off and then follow up and then, you know, another big kickoff. So yeah, like every month, they want them every month, but it's hard to maintain that constant like energy, because, you know, it's an investment. So, all right.
And I would encourage y'all too that, you know, if there's something that is by you where you can go and see one of these, or, you know, I would recommend attending one if you can. And maybe sometimes that's you're not able to do that online, but if there's one happening live around you, I would go attend it just so you can see it. I mean, it's basically the same exact thing you're facilitating online that you're doing in person. But
yeah, and there's recording too. Jessica, are yours recorded? Have you recorded a live stream as well?
I have. They're just so long that that's why I'm going to do it on the Zoom. And since we're doing it new, I'm going to record the one Saturday. So then it's recorded. And I know Brianne, like they broke out some material and did some recordings where they have theirs housed.
Well, and Goddard's have a couple as well. They used to be on the Share Success site under events, and then scroll way down, and there's like there used to be 2, and it said like Laura Jacobs was one of, like, there's a bunch of different people that have led them. So like when I first started, I watched the whole thing, kind of got an idea of like how it should flow and the information and whatnot. Oh, one other thing I want to add, just as an extra thing for, you guys all have to feel this out and see what's a good fit for you. Cause some of you might be like, oh, that, I don't know if that resonates with me. But in the beginning days, the very first launch I did weekly Zoom chats on skill sets. So on the different pipes. Okay. And so those of you aren't familiar with Share Success, like pipes is inviting and preparing. It's like all different skill sets that we use. And I did 1 hour Zoom chats on all of those, and then had my leaders also do within their zone of genius, also teach. So we had 4 hours of Zoom chat, basically a 4-hour launch training at the push of a button if they wanted it. And then I did what's a really important thing, I think, for new people. They're coming in as, baby builders who are launching. They've got questions up the wazoo, like questions you ain't never heard before. Like, I don't know, they come up with some doozies, right? So I did a Q&A every week and I recorded it, and then I filed those away. So I have 3 hours of Q&A of every question under the sun. And then I like index those questions. So at 9 minutes and 7 seconds, I answer the question, what do you do when someone won't respond back to you after they're interested in oils? And so any question that you could think of, I've indexed for this 3-hour thing. And that's kind of a nice tool that you can put out there for your team. And I've used it over and over and over and over and over. So I did it one time, but it's out there, right? So anything you could do to automate all of this, and I'm not teaching to like automate these programs because the interaction is key, but there are some things that you can stop recreating every single month. You don't need to do that. So hopefully that's helpful. And that's been good for our team.
I love it. And if you live in an area where you have team near you, have them take a section and own it.
Yes.
And that's a big belief builder, and it's good for their team to see them in that light. So, okay, Jess, sorry, we're giving you time, girl.
Yes, sorry.
That was awesome. That was so much good information. No, I could hear you talk forever. It was really good.
No, sir. I was like, ooh, I'm going to go back and take some better notes. But yeah, I love that. So we've done the Train by Rank, like Facebook groups now. We're on our 3rd round of them, and I love them, but of course it's always like trial and error, just like anything else. So we did a 30-day launch in September, which was just relaunch yourself into the business after summer, because everyone took a big break, it seemed like. And so September was great. We let everybody in. We played a lot of the Share Success videos, and then in October we did the Train by Rank. And so the first round, I learned from mistakes. We did a launch to Elite, launch to Premier, launch to Silver, and then launch to Gold and Above. And I thought it would be such a great idea to not have the Gold and Above in all of the groups, because I didn't want them distracted, and they become micromanagers at sometimes, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to totally be in there and being like tagging their people, calling them, saying you didn't, comment on this post. And so I thought, let's just concentrate on you guys. But what I found is a lot of Gold and Above, they already kind of know what to do. And so it really wasn't making sense to have them in that group. So we went through the 8 weeks, and really it became a very inactive group, which was fine. But our elites and our premiers and silvers were super active. And in fact, our elites were the most, and I love what Sara said. I mean, we were getting questions that were like, what? But they were so many different questions. So this next round, we just did launch to Elite, launch to Premier, launch to Silver. And we allowed all of our Gold and Above. In fact, we put them all into those groups so that they could, be totally engaged. In fact, on Saturday mornings, we do a launch to Elite Zoom call at 8 a.m., a launch to Premier Zoom call at 9 a.m., and then Mondays at 11 is our Silver calls with our with that group. And it is a huge commitment, you guys. Every single Saturday morning at 8 a.m., someone has to be up on these calls. However, we're finding that these questions are just, you're almost floored that some people don't even know this stuff, but it shows you where's that lack of communication, so you can really make sure people know how to train their teams. So that's been really good. I'm loving that. What I love though now is because I've engaged some of those golds and above. In fact, all of our golds and above are in those, and I have specific golds in our launch to Elite, specific in our launch to Premier that have to be on the Zoom. Like there's no option for them not to be on it. And I love having them chime in because, like, especially with Launch to Premier, they're not too far away from achieving that rank. So some of the stuff I'm trying to remember back, like when I was an elite and Premier, and I'm like, gosh, what was that feeling or what was that like? And they're still pretty new. So they can add a totally different dynamic than I can add to that. And they're giving some really good feedback, and we're getting just great engagement. The Launch to Silver, because in order to become a silver, you have to believe in you. We've really focused a lot on that belief system, on them. Very inspirational. We have people putting in inspirational quotes in the groups every single week, making sure that someone's posting something. We're going in the groups, answering all those questions. And one of the things that I'm loving is, like Sara said, that camaraderie and that rooting each other on is amazing. In November, we broke, like, I don't know how many elites, but it was one of our top months. It was like 45 new elites out of that group. And Premiers was the same thing. We had a ton of new ranks that month, which, yes, bogos, probably did help that, obviously, but they had also been set up for that. So it's kind of fun to see. One thing I was going to say is, what I love about the group is making sure that you're on the Zooms with them. We're always saying, remember, something's coming up. If you're having a struggle, share that. Most likely someone else is having the same struggle. So we can, don't feel like you're alone. It's going to be really good. Someone's got to ask the question so we can answer. And they do, and they're really vulnerable. In fact, yesterday on our Launch to Premier group, a girl went on a live Facebook feed, and her title was Lost Motivation Help. And she's bawling. She is just being vulnerable, saying, I don't know what's going on. I've just lost my motivation. And you should have seen the response. Like, it gives me just like chills. Like, people like, well, you've got this, and I love you, and we're here to help you. Call me. And I'm like, yes, because they're in it together. They're in that same kind of grind in a way. So I've just seen the collaboration be amazing. All we're doing is plugging in share success videos that are under the Train by Rank. It's all done. Like, I'm not recreating anything. I'm just going in, and sometimes I'll even pull videos from a different rank if I feel like, you know what, I love what they said in the gold track, but I'm going to plug it in the Premier track. I just have really played with what I feel is they're needing at that time. And then we go through the videos on our Zooms on Saturday, and we have a question and answer time. And it's really been amazing. I will have to say, I'm doing 6 weeks next time. I did in 8 weeks, which felt like forever. And then, like Sara said, the 4 weeks is not long enough. And so again, we're just playing with it and seeing. So this next one, we won't start till February 15th, have 2 weeks of really prepping them how to hit the ground running in March, and then have through the end of March. So lots of different ideas. I think the best thing is we have a system that's in place, and not necessarily even a system, but we have videos and so many things in that library that we literally could just, put into those groups where we're not having to recreate the wheel. We do go live in those video or in those little groups too, like Sara was saying, and just, someone will pick a subject and go in. We really try to concentrate on what they need to learn at that moment too. So, like, we know that as a lead, they need to be a product of the product. So you can put in product information in that. In Premiers, they need to learn how to believe in the business opportunity that's for them. So plug in little things in like that. We've had people share their success stories with how doTERRA changed their life. And so it's just been really fun to see on that. But I love the Facebook Live. I think if you guys can invest in this, and remember, it is a huge investment, because we decided to be very active in it, which is sometimes grueling, but we also felt that sometimes we were having people come to us over and over again that their leader wasn't very active. And so it was a way to plug them in to be able to have other resources to create cross-line collaboration. And then, of course, us just be able to speak some life into them in a big setting, so it wasn't spending so much time on one-on-one calls. And that has really, really helped, because, let's face it, all of us, right, we cross-line collaborate, and it's the best part of this business. And Jess, like, she's my doTERRA spouse, right? We attend all these things, we've rooted each other on, and I honestly believe that I wouldn't be where I was without the support of all these amazing diamonds, blue diamonds, and presidentials. Like, we've done this together. So if we can keep that culture at the elite and bring that up, I just think it's going to make sure that our culture always stays the same. And that's the thing we have to be careful of as we grow as a company, is not losing that beautiful culture that we have, because what we have is rare. So if you haven't done these groups, just play with them and have fun with them. I'm telling you, it will really help your business and plug people into the right spots that they can learn exactly where they're at with the like-minded people that are on the same track as them.
Absolutely. I feel like, you know, what we're learning here, just like we learn in all of doTERRA, is there isn't just one way, but there is always one common theme, and that is relationships. And that's in supporting each other and in keeping a positive culture within your team. And honestly, you guys are at the forefront of that. You're facilitating what kind of vibe your group is going to have. And, you know, and I'll tell you that, you know, if people can see you and your vulnerability and your love for them and your desire for them to be successful, and reach those dreams and conquer, you know, those fears that they have, and they see that you genuinely care about that, that's what these events do. And that's why events are so important. And if you're someone and you're not showing up enough for your team, you know, find a way to make this a way you can show up for them. And it is a commitment. Like, whether you're doing it on Facebook or you're doing it live or you're doing both, it's a commitment, and it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy, but the things that are worth doing and the things that produce results are the things that require that. And so we hope that this has been something that has helped give you good ideas. We will put together a folder with all the documents in it in one place. The PowerPoint, the agenda, Sarah's posts that she does that I'm excited to see, all the little things that we think will help you to be able to take the content that we've given today and roll with it and launch that and implement it in your organization so that your team can benefit from it. Something you can train your own leaders on and get them involved. That's a huge part of this, y'all. Don't just go and do it on your own and say, well, the only way this is going to get done is if I do it. I promise you, you have to allow space for your leaders to rise and to share their gifts. And sometimes they don't even know they have them. So you have to give them that platform to be able to do that. And sometimes, unless people have that responsibility, they don't even know how much of an impact they can create. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. We'll wait for a few more minutes if you guys have any more questions, and then we'll make sure you guys have the recording to this. Thank you so much, you guys, for being on. This was awesome. I learned so much today.
I'm going to add one more little thing, just because I know there's probably people even on this call and within the Diamond groups that are like, Facebook Live, I can't, like, I'm not good enough with words, or I'm not like.
Is she paused on your end?
Yeah. It'll catch up.
She's froze. Yeah.
Carol, we need your last words.
I will say something while she's paused about the Facebook Live. We just had a leader that's a Diamond go, and we have like a group just for Golds and Above.
On the spot, right? But here's what this professional did not have to do it some other.
We keep losing.
You were totally gone.
What did you hear me last say?
Facebook Live.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Way back then, I was like on fire, you guys. I was like, okay.
We need the first capture.
I know. Maybe the recording will catch it. Who knows? Okay, so all you heard me say was Facebook Live, like that.
And then you had this really awesome face, like you were about to inspire us, and we lost you.
I bet. Okay, so the magic has been, and I know when you guys were frozen, I'm like, they're really riveted with what I'm saying. But you're really, okay. So it has been the imperfection there's no perfection in Facebook Live, right? And so, like, it's given her team and the people in that launch permission to be unedited and to come to their, like, have wet hair and have kids running in the background and to just do it anyway, because we all know that doTERRA businesses are successful when you just do it anyway, right? And so if they don't know how to not make themselves perfect before they do something, then like that's gonna be a problem for them. So that's, and it's also like Jessica, like you were saying, it helps connect them with their leader. So if they think that Sara Janssen is perfect, and like everything she does is all put together and all scripted, and kids are never pounding on my window, and like, give me a break, right? And so I want them to see like that real life happens, and that this business can happen in the midst of real life. And that's a
I mean, you're in a car right now.
I'm in a car. I mean, I live in a car, right? Like right there. So
I wanted to say really quick with the Facebook Live, that one thing that actually two of our leaders did, it was a diamond and a gold, and they did a whole challenge with their team. It was a 21-day challenge to go live on their personal page every single day and create a 2 to 3 minute video on whatever, incorporate a little bit in, like, they shared a part of their life that a lot of people, she goes, I was shocked after 4 years that people didn't know what I truly did. And some of it was how she was making samples with her daughter. Some of it might have been like, yeah, we're on our way to a doTERRA class in a coffee shop. And they just did this for 21 days. And she was like, number one, everyone is way more confident to be in front of people. But the other side of it is you created this like life in front of people to be able to see what you're doing on a bigger level. Mm-hmm. And so it might be something that if some of your team is struggling, do a challenge, but you have to do it with them. And I think that's the biggest thing. And what we're all saying is whatever you want your team to do, we have to be showing up in the same way. We have to be doing it. Jess is Presidential Diamond doing launches 20 times a year, right?
Got it memorized like a class.
So be available to be that person that is shining with everyone. We should never stop. Remember, like, that's what I loved about at the Blue Presidential, that panel. Nobody's stopping at this place. And so, if you're feeling stuck, it means to get out there and do the things that you have been asking your team to do that you're not doing. So just have fun with it, though. I love this part of it. I think it's a blast.
And you really are creating relationships with the people who are trying to make it happen. And that's what you want to focus on anyway. Mm-hmm. So we got a question here really quick. So can we get more info on Train by Ranks and how we're doing them online? So Jessica talked a little bit about that and just facilitating different groups per rank. I feel like the people who are going for any gold and above, they should be self-motivated to go and do that on their own. If you feel like you need a group to put all those people in, that they just want to self-run and have a community and kind of a platform to collaborate with each other, then definitely create that. Just by having, your people pushing for certain ranks and certain groups. But I know for me, I do the Silver Club, and that's what we facilitate. We always do it every year, gearing up towards leadership so people can qualify. And all of my qualifications and the way I roll that is at clubdim.com. So you can see exactly how I put my Silver Club together, and you can do what you want with it. That's what I run. I only do it once a year though, gearing up towards leadership. And I actually just post one video a week and do a live training, kind of like you guys do, that goes into that content deeper and answers questions. So that's how we've run ours. We do a video a week, so it's an 8-week period. And then if you wanted to do it 2 videos a week, then you could do it in a 4-week period. But ultimately, I feel like too much is too much, and I like the 6-week mark is kind of the sweet spot. So that's what we played around with to just try. But I know getting people to Silver may take a little bit longer. So that's why those groups have been 8 weeks. And again, collaborate. That's a good thing for us to create a chat about online. So how you guys are implementing that. Ultimately, one thing that I love about all the Train by Ranks is that all of us, all the different personalities, all the different ways we do things are available, okay? Are available for people to listen to. If your voice isn't resonating with them, they can go find another voice. And that's the beautiful part, is just we've all come together to give our best on the videos that are loaded on Sheer Success, on the Train by Rank, and people can go and listen to those. And some of them will speak to them and some of them won't. But, at the end of the day, the people who want it, they're going to keep going regardless. So... okay, we're going to honor our hour here. And thank you again, everybody, for being on. We'll get you all the content as quickly as we can. And we appreciate all the genius that was here. And we hope that you guys will share yours as you're going out and implementing these things and share your best practices. Let's keep the Diamond page a place where we can mastermind, where we can grow, where we can share positive ideas of what's working in our business. And listen, this isn't always easy, but I can promise it's worth it, right? And we're doing it, and we got to inspire that, and we got to stay positive. So thanks for the collaboration, y'all. See you later.
Bye.